What's going on, guys? TBF here. We're going to talk today about the Shazam movie. So I'm a little bit late with the review, kind of like always. I'm still living overseas, so it means we get to see sometimes these movies a little bit later, and it didn't come out to this weekend. This is my first day that I'm actually able to sit down and make a quick video about this. I'm really excited to talk about Shazam. I went and saw this Saturday morning. I love the movie. It was absolutely awesome. I'm really excited about the reaction that it's getting. I'm a little surprised about the money that it's making, or I should say not making, but overall the movie was a lot of fun. I couldn't believe how good it actually was, and just how much it felt like I was watching the actual comic book come to life, especially some of the more recent run after Rebirth with Shazam. So we'll talk about it really quickly, kind of get into just a little bit of the things about it, talk about the Rotten Tomatoes and Box Office Mojo side of it real quick, and just kind of give you my overall thoughts on the movie and the DCEU universe going forward. So I kind of already buried the lead up front, right? I enjoyed the movie. I mean, that is what it is. Now, Rotten Tomatoes showing it's at a 91% and a 90% audience score. This is what a big-time movie should look like in terms of audience versus critic. You see they both generally like it. Now, not as many people went and saw this movie as what saw the other Captain Marvel, right? It definitely doesn't have as much of a audience following. Not as many people have gone and seen it, but for 90% of 5,600 reviews is definitely pretty good. It looks like it made $53 million over the weekend. I'll take a look at Box Office Mojo real quick and kind of see how much it made overseas. So let's talk a little bit about the movie. This movie was actually fairly amazing. I was a little worried going into it. There's a couple things I didn't like, but overall, the entire movie, really, really enjoyed it. Of course, you've got Zachary Levi as Shazam, and does it say the actual actor's name on here? I don't remember if it does. The young boy that played Billy was really good, and then his little brother, amazing. Between the two of those, Freddie and Billy, they worked really well together. And then when he became the older character of actual Shazam, it was pretty amazing to watch that transformation and see him. Zachary Levi was amazing. I mean, I've been a big fan of him since his days on Chuck, or he was in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie. Probably not as great a credit to him, but overall has always been really good. Really enjoyed his work, and I'm really excited for him to get such a big movie role like this, and I hope it does get a sequel. All right, so the family was amazing. The adopted family, I think they're one of the big highlights of the movie, the actual parents and all the children. It doesn't go a lot into their backstory other than Freddie, who you get to talk to quite a bit, and he actually is there with Zachary Levi, Shazam, a lot. They actually are the main focus of a lot of it, especially like the training montage when he's first getting his powers and stuff like that. The villain was pretty amazing. Mark Strong, I think his name. He actually did a really good job. You start the movie off with him, and I'll stay away from any like major spoilers, but you start the movie off with Mark Strong and learn a little bit about his backstory in the very, very beginning. See him as a young child, and you get to see his motivations for later on being the supervillain. So it was definitely pretty good. I'm glad they didn't go with Black Adam as the villain. I would have been a little worried for them to go with Black Adam as the villain, just because I think The Rock, if they are still going with The Rock as Black Adam, he definitely overshadows Shazam and Zachary Levi to a point where it makes it really hard to make a successful movie. And they're talking about doing a Black Adam actual like solo movie, which I think is really, really cool. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what this does for the DC universe moving forward. In terms of the things that I didn't like about the movie, there was only a couple things, and I kind of changed my mind on it later. But the first one was when he's a kid, when he's Billy, he's kind of stoic, a little angry at the world, not angry, cynical maybe, I guess is the right word. He's gone through some hard times, so he's kind of a little gruff. He's a little more hardcore. And then when he turns into Shazam, he is a complete little kid. Like, he's more of a little kid as Shazam than he as young Billy. And later on I thought about it more, and it made kind of sense to me, because Shazam has all that power. It's probably a little bit freeing for him. He has like the actual freedom. He can actually change things. He can actually fight back. And now that weight of the world is no longer on his shoulders, or the weight of the world is on his shoulders, but now as Shazam, he's strong enough to actually carry that weight. So I thought it was really cool. And this does a good job of actually showing us a little bit of that hero's journey that you always hear about, where it was earned. When he first started off, he didn't know his powers. He had to learn them and kind of struggle through them. And you know what? When he first got powers, he wasn't the best of guys. I think that it's kind of a bad thing in movies to do, just to show people instantly know their powers and instantly not have to struggle through that area or not have to go through any kind of character arc where they maybe not be the best person right away. Because during parts of this movie, he is a little selfish. He's basically a kid who was granted all this power. And let's be honest, what would you do if you were a young kid and you were granted this insane, immense power? What would you actually act like? I mean, who knows? I think me as a young kid, I'd probably go get in a fight with someone at school that had given me trouble or something like that. Or I don't know. What would you do? What would you do? I think that it definitely speaks a little bit more to just being realistic in that nature. Now, the movie is definitely a little bit goofy. That was probably the only other thing that I was kind of not so sure about, but it worked. There was a lot of jokes, so jokey all the time, but it actually really works, and most of the jokes are really good. So many out loud, just laughing my butt off. Me and my kids both really enjoying the movie. Something that surprised me a little bit is some of the darkness within the movie, the supervillain and how he gets his powers and stuff like that. Definitely a little darker than what I have expected, and definitely a little bit scary for the young kids. I saw a lot of young kids in the theater, and parents were having to either cover eyes or just kind of, I guess, keep an eye on them during that time. And I've heard other parents say that their kids had either nightmares or really scared of it. I don't think it's that scary to the point where it's that bad, but my 6-year-old was there, and I had to cover his eyes for it because it's a little too much for him. But Shazam, 91%, 53 million starting off. That's pretty amazing. Now for Box Office Mojo, I think on here it'll show me the actual, let's see, will it show me the overseas? I'm not 100% sure. Doesn't look like it. Now the budget on Shazam was really low. I've heard reports of 80 million. This one says 100 million. It made 56 in the first weekend. But I think what you're going to see with Shazam is it's not going to drop as much as most movies from first week to second week, because I think the word of mouth, sorry, words are hard. The word of mouth is really strong on this movie. I think that a lot of people are going to go out and see it a second or a third time. And I think that hopefully it's going to draw some people in that were either not wanting to go back to a DC Universe movie after being burned by some of the movies that they didn't like, or even some of the people that were turned off by Aquaman. Aquaman is a really fun movie, but I know a lot of people that didn't like it, and that caused them not to come to this one. Or just a couple weeks back, we got a Captain Marvel movie, and Avengers is coming up, and this is kind of sandwiched between two of the bigger movies of the year, and maybe that took a little bit away from it. But overall, I was a little surprised for it to be 56 million. I thought it would be a little closer to 100 million. Now, I don't know if I click on the actual movie. I think it'll show me the international. Let's see here. Foreign, looks like foreign. It's made about 102 million for a grand total of 159. That's not bad. I mean, that's pretty good. I think that they're saying that it needs to make anywhere from 300 to 400 million to be considered like a resounding success. I know that 56 million is the lowest DC opening so far, which is a little bit of a bummer because some of the movies that have made more than it's just kind of a bummer. And then in forums, I've read a lot of the arguments where people are fighting back and forth of whether Shazam or Captain Marvel is a better movie. Honest answer, Shazam is a better movie. Captain Marvel fits into a bigger, more important universe, so it has a little more weight to it because of that. But Shazam is definitely just objectively a better movie. It's more fun. I think when I left this movie as opposed to the other movie, I was happy. We were talking about it, and we quoted it for a few days after, and I think that's really important. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed one movie more than the other, let me know definitely down in the comments down below. Overall, I'm having a lot of fun doing these first few videos on the channel. I've fallen a little bit behind in terms of trying to figure out what kind of content I really want to release on the channel. This is just my secondary channel, and I'm still kind of learning how to do it. I know that I don't get a lot of views or a lot of subs early on, and that's just kind of the early grind of a YouTube channel, unless you're doing like some super clickbaity titles, which I don't plan on doing. I just want to have a little bit of fun and talk a little bit about movies and heroes and comics and things that we really enjoy. So, about fighting off a yawn right now, super late in the middle of the night, about to go get a little bit of sleep before work in the morning, and hopefully go see this movie again this weekend. Really enjoyed it. Can't wait to see the next one. Now, for the future of the DCEU, I don't want to stretch this video on too long. I'm very curious to see how this moving forward fits into the DCEU universe. I think that Wonder Woman 84 comes out later in the year, and that has been said that it's a standalone movie. Wonder Woman's already been kind of fit into the whole Justice League and DC universe. However, DC is able to use Wonder Woman in the different time periods to completely separate itself from any of the Zack Snyder stuff or any of the previous movie things that they may not want to, marry their movie to. And whether you like or dislike the Josh Snyder adaptations that he did, overall they're fairly divisive, and not a lot of people reviewed it very well. If you go back and look at the reviews, Rotten Tomato scores, stuff like that, people definitely were not in line with the vision that Josh Snyder was working towards. And although I love Superman, I love Batman, I didn't like their movie together. Man of Steel is a movie I really enjoyed, but overall, I can honestly say that I didn't enjoy the Zack Snyder. Did I say Josh Snyder earlier? Zack Snyder. I didn't enjoy the Zack Snyder universe. So I may have said Josh like 5 times there. I don't know. I'm sure that if someone does make it through this far in the video, I'll definitely get corrected on that, whichever way I said it wrong. Hopefully it wasn't too far off. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys saw this, let me know. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm definitely going to see it one more time. And it'll be something that I definitely own later on DVD or Blu-ray. So, all right, fighting up this yawn. It's definitely time to go get some sleep. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Expect at least something this weekend. We should have the DC Top 10. I've already recorded it. I just need to go ahead and edit it and get it up on the channel, so we'll see what happens. All right, guys, I will talk to you in the next video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe.